welcome to CityBeat inside Palo Alto. I'm P.A. Moore. Today's show focuses on the variety of things here in Palo Alto. There's an art exhibit in the lobby of City Hall. We're going to learn about renewable, sustainable energy. Then there's that water main replacement on Alma. We'll also have our regulars, Trash Busters, and the History Corner. Do stay with us. Anthony Inario and I are going to be talking about renewable energy. Anthony is with Palo Alto's Utilities Department. Anthony, what are some different types of renewable energy?
Well, PA, the types of renewable energy, as you can see behind me, are wind energy and solar or photovoltaic energy.
And what kind of programs does Palo Alto have in regards to what you would call green energy, I guess?
Well, Palo Alto just launched on June 1st a new renewable energy program called Palo Alto Green. Palo Alto Green's energy comes primarily from wind, about 97% wind, and about 3% solar.
Well, I can see the wind that's working right now. And tell me, who's eligible to participate in the program?
Well, any Palo Alto utility customer can participate in the program. Residential customers, commercial customers, industrial customers. Residential customers pay an additional premium of 1.5 cents per kilowatt hour. It just depends on their monthly electric consumption. On commercial customers, they can elect to participate in different levels of minimum of 1,000 kilowatt hour block. So a commercial customer can buy 5 to 10 or however many 1,000 kilowatt hour block of energy for their facility.
You know, that seems like a really small price to pay for all of the benefits of green energy. Can you elucidate some of those? Because, you know, it sounds like a win-win.
Right, it is a great win-win situation for everybody. Residential customers, for example, that on average, their environmental contribution amounts to about 11,000 pounds of carbon dioxide not going into the atmosphere by signing up with the program. It also equates to about the planting of about 624 trees when you sign up for Palo Alto Green. And also it averages about 11,000 miles not driven in 1 year when you sign up for Palo Alto Green.
So we have issues like less dependence on foreign sources. We've got clean energy. It's sustainable. All of those are advantages.
Yes, there are great advantages. There's also some economic advantages in that wind farms, where we get our farm, is sort of the next crop for a lot of the farmers, and so it's a second, as you can say, it's a second crop. So it provides jobs, energy independence, and also 100% our goals towards sustainability.
You know, that just sounds like a great idea. How can people get more information?
Well, it's easy to sign up. You can either visit our website at www.cpau.com or watch out for bill inserts in utility bill, or call our office at 329-2241 and ask for information in an application packet, and we will send that to you.
Wonderful. Well, we'll certainly look forward to hearing more about Palo Alto Green.
Thank you.
In Palo Alto, public art is an important aspect of the city's culture. I'm with Marta Toma, and she's got a grand exhibit here in the lobby and on the plaza of City Hall. Marta, tell us about the exhibit.
I've been working on this body of work for some time that is on the theme of youth, and I applied to the Peninsula Community Foundation for a grant to further my work in this way. Sculpture demands a lot of materials and expenses, so it was wonderful to have a grant to support the work. And with the grant, I was able to make this body of work that has to do with youth, and I've called it Portraits of Youth.
And I see that, in fact, you've got statues of young people and little girls' dresses and things. So can you tell us specifically about the pieces themselves?
Yes, I've really interpreted portrait to mean a lot of different things besides what you typically think of portrait as being an exact replication of someone. I'm really trying to get the inside and the feelings of the person, in particular about youth. I'm interested in kind of two ages, sort of that age at the beginning when life is so mysterious and so exciting and you're unfiltered by so much cultural input. And then the age of teenage really interests me because in the same way, it's so full of angst and incredible change and flux. And there's so much inside to just fascinate me. I love thinking about it.
Well, now tell us, you have these great globes outside, and what then do they symbolize for you?
The globes were an addition to the small figures because I felt the figures. I see the installation as one large installation in the sense that it isn't just individual sculptures that by themselves. And the globes really were something powerful and strong, and I thought that they represented Earth and planets. But I wanted to wed, which I often do, the masculine and the feminine.
Oh.
So the very large and dominant and architectural form of the globe is married with what looks like to be lace, but it's actually made of an industrial material also.
So we have the combination of figures and globes, and there's a delightful little dress, almost like a mannequin. That's really quite charming.
The dresses with the dresses with the flower heads.
Yes.
And yes. The dresses with the flower heads evolved as a group. They're in a grouping.
Yes.
I believe it's 11 of them, and they're in different colors cast cement. And one thing I've enjoyed working with is the different colors that you can get from cement, and the colors look very earth tone, and they remind me a lot of skin tone. And so the variety of the different colors of dress can symbolize the variety of different ways we come to this earth in different colors and types. And then each dress has its own character and its own flower.
Oh, you know, this is just so fascinating because, you know, the symbolism, the meaning, the different interpretations. How could a person get more information about your artwork?
I'd be happy to hand out my email as well as my studio number. Please contact me. I love to talk to people about art, and I'm very happy to exchange ideas.
Super. Thank you so much, Marta.
Thank you.
Foothills Park, it's a fabulous spot in the fall. Lester Hodgins is going to tell us something about the group picnic area. Lester, what about the group picnic area?
Yes, we have our Oak Grove group picnic area right here behind us. And this picnic area is rarely reserved during the week, Monday through Friday. It's a great place for a family gathering or a small company picnic.
Well, you say small. Let's say I have 100, 150 people. What about the size and how do we get in and all of those technical details?
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect. Yeah, you can rent it for 2 people to 150, which is our maximum. And you can make a reservation with us by going to the Foothills Park homepage. You can download the application or give us a call and we can mail or fax an application to the picnic area.
And there is a residency issue about Foothills Park, and so how does that fit into picnics if I wanted to invite outsiders?
Absolutely, yes. There is the residency issue. Foothills Park is open only to Palo Alto residents and their accompanied guests, but each resident can bring up to 15 guests. So for 150 people, you only need 9 residents.
Okay, so that works out pretty well then. There must be, fall. There are lots of other activities here at Foothills. I heard, October, scary time.
That's right. Yep, we have brought back a smaller version of our Halloween program. We've had a haunted lake in the past. This year we're going to have a haunted interpretive center on the 26th and the 27th of October.
And what costume are you wearing? All right, come on, now's the time.
Well, that's got to be a secret.
And how would I get more information about that?
Yeah, the Enjoy website, paenjoy.org, will give you more information about our Haunted Interpretive Center.
And tell me quickly, what age groups is that going to be best suited for?
Probably 5 years and up. Younger kids could be kind of scared by some of the events.
Oh, it's that costume. Thank you so much, Lester.
Thank you.
People will see some vines outside the entrance of the Children's Library. With me is Kathy Miller, president of the Palo Alto Library Foundation, to explain what those are all about. Kathy, they're really gorgeous and very artistic.
Yes, well, we had to measure our progress in our fundraising for the Children's Library renovation and expansion, and we were thinking of an ordinary thermometer, but Judy Gittleson, a local artist, came up with this wonderful idea of measuring our progress with leaves. And so that each leaf is covered with nylon when we've raised $100,000. So there are 25 leaves, $100,000 for each leaf, and we've already covered 17 of them.
And how many are there to go?
8 more to go.
But what I love the idea, you know, the greening of the library. Now tell me, why is there a need for raising money here for the Children's Library?
Well, Children's Library is 63 years old and has never been renovated. Many of its systems are completely out of date. The plumbing, the toilets overflow, the roof leaks, the electrical, there's no air conditioning.
Really basic stuff here.
Basic stuff.
Okay.
As well as the fact that the library is very crowded. The population of Palo Alto has doubled in the time that the library has been used, and the usage of the library has increased by much more than that. It's the most used library per square foot, the Children's Library is, in Palo Alto. And books are spilling into the aisles, and computers don't fit. There weren't any computers in 1940. There weren't any audiovisual materials, so there's a real need for more space.
So the space has been dictated by the amount of the population growth, the different kind of materials in a library. So what is it that you want to do? Renovation and expansion, it sounds like.
Right. Renovation of the existing building, and then expansion by adding a wing along the north side.
Okay. So what are we talking about in terms of money?
Well, it's $2.5 million for the full budget. That includes furniture and fixtures, which we don't have to raise this year. But we do have to raise $2.3 million this year. So that includes a $1.2 million commitment from the city, so they're covering half the cost. And we're well on our way to reaching the goal. We also have some matching funds that will come in when we raise $70,000 more dollars. So we'll get $200,000 at that point. We'll be able to cover 3 more leaves very soon.
And really, isn't there a deadline looming, though, and that's what makes it a little more urgent, and we want people to really contribute as they can?
Yes, there's a deadline at the end of the year for the matching funds, and then very early next year for the city to be able to proceed with plans for expansion.
Well, it's such a noble cause. How could people get more information?
They can go to our foundation website, which is shown on the screen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alma Street is a very busy place here in Palo Alto. Romel Antonio, you're the project manager. Why are we here on Alma?
Thank you, Paye. We're out here to replace a 6-inch and a 10-inch water main that are subject to recurring breaks. It's an ongoing operations and maintenance nightmare maintaining those 2 mains on a busy thoroughfare. What we're doing is combining those 2 mains into one 12-inch ductile iron main.
So why we're here is, but they must be pretty old for you replacing them.
Yes. The age of the mains that we typically replace can range from 50 to 80 years. They are old, corroded, and basically we need to enhance the reliability of our system to deliver the safe, quality water to our customers.
And a project like this obviously takes a long time, so what's the distance you're covering? How long are we expected to be involved?
Yes, the project started in August. That's when we first started construction on Alma Street. Alma is just one street out of several streets this project encompasses. Alma Street stretches from Hamilton to Tennyson. A little over a mile, 5,800 lineal feet is what we're replacing. And we have also, in addition to the water main replacement, is the addition of 137 blow-offs in various locations in the city. And what we're doing that for is preparing the city's water distribution system to receive and maintain chloraminated water in our system.
That's right. And tell me then, what's the main thing that a traffic issue here? Because, you know, if I ride this way to work, you know, maybe I should know a few things.
Yes, absolutely. We request drivers to slow down, absolutely, when you're approaching the construction zone. When you see cones, by all means, maintain your safe distance away from workers. And just be overall attentive and aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, and I'm sure that people could probably find an alternative to Alma for the next month or so. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. We encourage that. Between the hours of 8 and 4 p.m., we encourage drivers to find other alternate routes.
So how do I get more details about this project if I live here or travel here on a regular basis?
For more questions, please contact the Utilities Department.
Super. Thanks, Rommel.
My pleasure, PA.
Hello, my name is Dave Cavell, and I'm a board member with the Media Center here in Palo Alto. And I'm joined by Annie Niehaus, who's the executive director. Annie, can you tell me a little bit about the new facility we have here in Palo Alto?
I'd be happy to. We're here at 900 San Antonio Road in South Palo Alto. We actually serve Atherton, East Palo Alto, Menlo Park, Stanford, and Palo Alto. So members of all of these communities are welcome to come here and make use of this state-of-the-art, brand new facility. We are surrounded by technology of communication. This is a community center. We have edit suites. We have an equipment checkout. We have a studio. We have an automated playback system that is actually operating 5 channels on the cable system. It's a very exciting place to be. The big thing is not a lot of people know about us. We've recently moved here. Our sign's not even up on the building yet, but it will be very soon.
Well, it sounds like a real community location here. I mean, are there examples of people using it from a wide variety of community places?
We get people from all walks of life who come here. There are seniors who come here to help us. They volunteer. They work in the studio. We've got a group of seniors called the Scroll Trolls who keep the scrolls going on the channels every day. We have young people who come who find inspiration for college. They get their feet wet. They get their hands on the equipment. They know what they're going to do. I had a mom call me and say, hey, my kid might have ended up in jail had it not been for finding the Media Center and producing his own show. It turned his life around. He's running her business now. We have a number of stories like that of people who come here and they get engaged and they are just excited about using technology to communicate to the larger community.
That's fantastic. And I mean, I guess I should tell people, too, about our open house that we're going to be having on November 8th here in Palo Alto at the center. It's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m., and there's going to be food and refreshments. And also there's going to be a live show going on at that very time.
Absolutely.
So I think it'd be a great event, and you can find out more information about the center and about the event on the screen, on the information.
Absolutely, and we hope people show up.
Definitely.
It's the History Corner, and I'm with Steve Steiger to talk about a man in Palo Alto history, John F. Parkinson. Steve, what were some of the key things that we should remember about Parkinson and Palo Alto's early history?
Well, John F. Parkinson was born in Iowa and came west with the intention of making his fortune. He came to Palo Alto in the early days, the very first year of Palo Alto's existence, establishing a lumberyard and hardware store on University Avenue, with the intent of making his big fortune.
Let me ask you then, these early days, we're talking about 1898 or something like that?
Actually, much earlier, 1891.
Okay.
One of his early contributions to the civic era of Palo Alto was the encouragement of the development of the incorporation of the town in 1893, 1894. He was one of the people that signed the initial petition to get that going. He was also the mayor of Palo Alto at the time of the 1906 earthquake. But if we go back further, his development was this lumberyard, which did well at times and also had some financial problems. He was also a real estate promoter, developing lands around Palo Alto, such as North Palo Alto and the lots across the street from where we stand today.
So here near the main library off Newell then. So he lived a long time, I understand. What were some of the things in his later life?
Well, as I said, his business and real estate speculations had booms and busts. At one time, his lumberyard burned, and without insurance, he suffered great financial setbacks. Some of his real estate developments did not pan out as he expected. And he did live much longer than most of his contemporaries. He was alive into the 1950s and was somewhat saddened by the fact that people in the town at that time, which was growing in tremendous lengths, did not seem to remember or recognize his contributions to the town.
And how would I learn more about people like John Parkinson and early days Palo Alto history?
Well, for all questions relating to Palo Alto history, we encourage you to come by the Palo Alto History Desk over at the main library on Newell Road, where I can help you with any of your inquiries.
Thanks, Steve.
It's the time of year when phone books are arriving throughout the Palo Alto. It's on your doorsteps, the new ones are coming in. And usually this is a time when the recycling program sets up some bins for drop-off, like these big white bins with the yellow signs. We're not putting those out this year other than this one that's going to stay at the recycling center. What we're asking you to do this year is take your old phone books, not your new ones, but take your old ones and recycle them in your mixed paper container. If you have the stacking crate system, that means you throw it in your dark green mixed paper recycling crate. Simple as that. If you have the wheeled carts, you put it in the mixed paper wheeled cart. That's good for people in apartments and condos, or businesses would also use this. If you'd like, you can always come down here to the recycling center and put it in our big bin with all the other phone books, but you can do it at home as well. We ask you this because each year California generates about 14 million tons of post-consumer, which is paper that's been with people, consumers, so you've bought this, it's not from manufacturing waste, but 14 million tons of paper, and only a third of that is recycled. So help us out, help us increase our recycling, and put your phone book, it's really easy, in your curbside recycling bin. This is Wendy Hediger reminding you to reduce, reuse, recycle, and buy recycled.
We're here at the animal shelter and talking to Bonnie Yaffe-Sharp, who's a veterinarian for the shelter. Bonnie, tell me, how long have you been here at the shelter?
I've been with the City of Palo Alto at the shelter here just over 5 years.
And what's your normal day-to-day occupation here?
I'm the only shelter veterinarian. I'm the only city veterinarian. So actually, I'm in charge of all the medical protocols here at the shelter, which includes any injured or sick strays that come in, also assessing animals that are surrendered to the shelter to make sure they're healthy for adoption. And of course, a big part of my job is spaying and neutering all dogs, cats, and rabbits that go up for adoption.
So how many spays and neuters do you do?
We average a little over 3,000 a year.
Wow.
Anywhere from 15 to 25 in a day, yeah.
Tell me, since this is a television show for the general public, what advice would you give the general public on the basic ways to make sure that their companions, their pet companions, are cared for and healthy and well?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. There's 3 things I always like to stress whenever I'm talking to anybody about anything related to animals. The big 3 are spay-neuter, and I can go into the benefits of spaying and neutering, vaccinating, and identification. And all 3 are so important to improving your chances of having a nice, long, healthy life for your pet. Working in an animal shelter, I found how amazing it is that so many people don't have identification on their animals. And of course, this is where the stray animals end up. If they get lost and somebody finds an animal in their yard or running down the street, oftentimes if it's a nice animal, they'll try to catch it. And if they have an ID, oftentimes if it's around the block, they'll just return it themselves. Unfortunately, a large number of animals don't have identification. They end up here at the shelter. And just like Carl Malden said, don't leave home without it. If they have a microchip or an ID tag, they're home in the same day. So the biggest thing I could tell people is just make sure you have some form of identification. Microchips are really great because even if a collar gets torn off or a name tag gets worn out and you can't read the number, a microchip will give all the pertinent information, as long as you update it every time you move. And through a computer database, we can find exactly who you are, where you are, and get your animal back home to you. ID tags are important also because if a neighbor were to find the animal, of course, they don't have a microchip scanner. And we do offer microchipping here at the shelter, and all of our adopted animals do have microchips when they go out. It's part of the adoption fee. As far as vaccinating, there's been a lot of changes in vaccine protocols over the last several years, a lot of research into how often do you really need to vaccinate your pets. And a lot of people, including a lot of the veterinary schools and universities, are going to, with cats, sometimes you may only need to vaccinate them every 3 years after the initial set of puppy or kitten shots, especially for cats, and actually some are actually looking into that with dogs now too. It's very important, even if you have an indoor cat, to vaccinate for rabies, because if your cat were to ever get out, rabies is fatal, it's contagious to people, so I don't mess around with rabies. Everybody should get rabies. As far as feline leukemia, if you strictly have indoor kitties, you probably don't need to vaccinate them for leukemia. And of course, a big one on my list is spaying and neutering, because pet overpopulation is the biggest cause of death of animals in this country, more than all the accidents and all the diseases combined. The biggest epidemic in this country is euthanasia. For the lucky ones that make it to a shelter, and just starving or being hit by cars out there for the stray animals that don't make it to the shelter. And there's so many medical benefits of spaying and neutering. A lot of people, when you say, oh, so many million animals are euthanized a year at shelters for because of pet overpopulation, their eyes glaze over because it's just too big of a number to comprehend. But when you say your dog will not get testicular cancer, will very unlikely to have any kind of prostate problems, much less likely to get hit by a car or get into a fight with another dog, much less likely to get other forms of cancer. People understand that because they don't want their own individual companion to suffer like that. Same with females. There's a severe uterine infection called a pyometra, which is totally prevented by Spain because it's uterine infection and we remove the uterus. Also, a cat in heat is a very formidable thing you wouldn't want hanging around the house too long. Same with an intact male cat with the yowling and the spraying. So there's so many medical and social benefits to spaying and neutering. And of course, in the long run, we decrease pet overpopulation. Those are the big three.
Well, thanks, Bonnie. And so residents, those big three, identification, vaccination, and spay and neuter. If you have any questions, be sure and call the clinic. Thanks for watching CityBeat Inside Palo Alto. I'm P.A. Moore. Have a safe and happy Halloween, and see you next time.